Hi, I'm Richard Moore, as most of you should already know. My story for the creative project is called Roar the Gift. It was done in a novel-based format, and it revolves around its main character, whose name is also Richard, which I'll explain why later. But and his quest, he's a young prince in his kingdom, and he's on a quest to figure out who he is and what his purpose is in the world. And along the way, he's also going through a process of growth in his powers as well, to build up into fighting the story antagonist named Xantos, who is a dragon of darkness, who his madness is driven by his extreme jealousy issues of someone else having a gift as a dragon besides him. And Richard's family, I should mention, it's a big part of the story, has the gift to shapeshift into dragons to be protectors of the land. And to better explain their timeline, I'm going to read you guys the preface of my piece. Air, water, earth, and fire, the four essential elements that are necessary to establish a spiritual connection between us and the planet. A long time ago, a council was developed so all the planet could be kept in peace and harmony. They called themselves the Guardians. The four Guardians were Windsor, the Guardian of Air, his wife Ariella, Guardian of Water, Rockford the Great, Guardian of Earth, and then his wife Flariona was the Guardian of Fire. Windsor and his wife governed the skies of the north and the oceans of the east, and Rockford and his wife governed the valleys of the west and the volcanic south. Together their bloodlines were all blessed with the gift of Sanguine di Drago, which, a side fact, roots from the Italian word meaning blood of the dragon. They could shift into mighty scaled creatures to protect their mortals from danger. However, the Guardians kept their personal identities a secret from the people they ruled, but they kept their gift present among the people that they ruled. So people knew that dragons were protecting them, but they didn't know who the dragons were. During a meeting of the Guardians on a summer's eve, Windsor felt that their secrecy of their gift was treason against the way that they ruled their people. The conflict of view caused a war between the couple's territory that lasted a very long time. And in this period, they had enough time to bear children. Windsor and Ariella had a daughter, Aquafina, and Rockford and Flariona had a son, Rockford II, and Flariona died of childbirth, unfortunately. And when the children became of age, they fell in love. And through their love, they were able to show the original Guardians that through their war and chaos, they're only harming the vessel in which they were given to live on. And then, through a treaty, henceforth known as the Treaty of the Claw, the four territories became united as one territory, further known as Andalasia, which would be ruled by the heirs and the future Guardians, King Rockford and Queen Aquafina. The story takes place in 2013. It's similar to the US aside from the fact that it's not ruled by a president, it's ruled by a king and a queen. Their technology and their social norms are pretty much virtually the same as the US. Aside from the king and queen, their whole thing is that they're treated as normal citizens amongst their kingdom. The only big part they have about them is the castle. They don't even use their titles that often. So they want everybody to treat them as normal individuals. And they don't, as far as the country, they're open to freedom of religion, but the main focus in the story is the royal family's religion. They don't praise a specific higher power, they just praise it because it gave them the blessing of their gift. And besides Richard, the other main characters are his parents, which are King Rockford and Queen Aquafina, and then the last living original Guardian, which is Windsor, the Guardian of Air. His older sister, Fiora, who takes on the role of Guardian of Fire since her grandmother passing. And also his feisty best friend and love interest, Ilaria, who her nickname is Rhea for short. The inspiration behind my piece came from similar self-conflicts that I've gone through and still kind of go through in my life. I'm always wondering what my purpose is in the world and what my future will entail. My goal from this piece was to show that each person is an important piece of a puzzle that makes up that makes up the world as a whole. That no one is worthless, and that each person has a point of being born and doing something on the earth. In the story, this is shown by when Witcher gains his dragon form. According to the context of my piece, when a young dragon starts to develop their powers, they can't transform into a dragon until their powers reach their full potential. And he does not reach his form until the final fight, when he has to fight the antagonist, and he gets enough motivation and strength to get out of the system. And when he does this, he realizes that his purpose, because he's kind of like me, I'm a smaller guy who was kind of quiet in high school and didn't really know like what he was doing. And he realizes through this quest that his purpose in his world is to be a protector of his people. The character concepts were inspired by my love of fantasy and dragons. I love anything about witches or fantasy or anything with supernatural powers, anything like that. It just gets me going. As far as the context of the story, was inspired by two of my favorite childhood TV shows. One being Nickelodeon's Avatar: The Last Airbender, which is about a civilization where some people are born with the gift of bending elements like water, earth, air, and fire. And when a girl and her brother discovers the Avatar, who is the one person in a millennium that can wield all the elements, their quest throughout the entire series is taking him across all the nations to find him teachers that can teach him to master the four elements, so that way he can bring the war in their time at peace. And the other portion of my piece was inspired by a Disney show called American Dragon Jake Long, which is a show about a modern day American Chinese family who their bloodline could transform into dragons, and their whole, the thing behind their quest was they would maintain the supernatural creatures that got out from the immortal world that leaked into the mortal world, and it would capture or maintain the activity. And in conclusion, my goal in this piece was to show that everyone has a purpose, and that finding out what our purpose is just a part of life, and that nobody is worthless, and everyone can have, and everyone can add something to the world.